last thing I want to talk about very quickly. So if you haven't seen this, Beyonce canceled her show in Portland, and then she pushed back all of the other shows. So she refunds the tickets for the shows in Portland, and this is so good. So some of the Swifties have basically, well, it's not all of the Swifties, and it's actually not most of them, but we have a group of petty Swifties who've come for the Beehive. Now, just fair warning to anybody who's like a Swiftie, who's like an anti-Beehive person, I would watch your step and watch your tone, just because like the Beehive is brutal. They're like actual killers. I think the Swifties might be too. On both sides, there's toxic fandom. So let's just preface it with that. But they made a really good point. So here's what they said. They said, well, Beyonce had to cancel some of her tour dates because she wasn't filling up arenas. Now, somebody else posted like a picture of like all the seats that were available and all the seats that were not available. How can I put this? They're right, but they're wrong. So they're right because like, in terms of ticket sales, I think that Taylor Swift is selling way more tickets than Beyonce. I mean, like way more. Like there's just like everybody in America, in Europe, in Mexico, in Asia, like everybody wants to see Taylor Swift. There's just not enough. She doesn't even have the capacity to perform the number of shows that would sell, right? Like I don't think it's the same for Beyonce, though Beyonce has, I think, maybe more cultural influence in ways that are kind of hard to measure. But let's talk about butts and seats for a minute, because that is an important metric. Now, when we're talking about America and really EMEA, well, not EMEA, because that includes like North Africa, but when we're talking about like maybe APAC, which is like Asia, Pacific Islands and all that, and really Europe, we'd have to put that in the group. We have to remember where the resources are. Like most, like on average, so if we're talking about statistics, in America, still the country is like 70 or very close to 70% white. So a lot, if you talk to like average, like let's say like girls who are going to shows right now, average white girls are actually like not fans of Beyonce. That's kind of a large population of people who are kind of anti-Beyonce in a sense. I don't think they're like wearing shirts like I hope Beyonce dies, but like they're also like, it's the way that I feel about like Paris Hilton or something. Like I acknowledge that she's alive, but like I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna buy a shirt, a cologne, nothing. Like I don't even follow her on Instagram, right? It's just like, ask me about Paris Hilton. Paris is alive. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's the way that most white people at this point feel about Beyonce. Not all. Beyonce has fans in the black community, in the gay community. She's very, very popular. And other like marginalized sects, which I couldn't mention them all because I'm not like a Beehive stan either. I'm just like, I'm a new Beyonce fan. Like I didn't even convert to being a Beyonce fan until Lemonade. Like before Lemonade, I actually was not a Beyonce fan. So we gotta start there. The old Beehive members are old Beehive members. They've been here since Dangerously in Love. They know the whole tape. They know all the shit. Like, I am not that person. I legit didn't care for Beyonce at all. I didn't think she was bad. I thought she was actually very talented. Like her vocals are really great, and she's pretty. She's never been a good dancer, which you guys know, like, I'm all about the choreography. I actually care about that. But vocally, she's great. Like, she's been great. I just personally think that she's kind of boring. Like, to me, she's just like the standard version of an American girl. Like, she's very privileged. Like, she's pretty like self-confident. But I feel like Lemonade was the first time that we saw her be vulnerable in ways which to me showcased her humanity. But before that, she was just very cocky and like conceited and basically saying like, I'm the shit, which, I mean, she is the shit. And now we get Renaissance, where she's come back and been on her old shit. I'm the shit, I'm the shit. It's true. She is the shit. Like, who's better? Nobody. Like, no, like, I can't even describe it. Like, I never thought Queen Bee would become this big. The point is, though, these people are existing at the same time, right? Like, Swift has got, like, 20 years. Like, Beyonce's, like, 20 years her senior, and Swift is, like, selling way more tickets. Way more tickets. And if you think about it, the Eras Tour is literally about eras. Like, we've seen Swift go through so many fucking eras. All we've seen with Beyonce is like B-Day and Renaissance. She's got two sides. She's like black and white. It's almost, that's what I'm talking about when I continue to talk about like the dehumanization of like black women. There's no way that Beyonce could be like representative for like, there's no point in time where we've had like the 13-year-old Beyonce. Even though she was like making music when she was 13, like what the fuck was she talking about? Because I feel like even in her adolescence, she was talking about bills. Like, how is it that when Beyonce was 17, she was talking about shit that I'm experiencing as a whole ass adult? That's called adultification, okay? This bitch was 13 singing about bills. Like, it's a lot. Like, some shit doesn't make sense. It's the same thing with like Usher. He was like 12, literally making songs about like actual sex. Like, it's just a lot. Like, it's not adding up. This is why the fans don't match like the art. It just doesn't make any sense at all. It's like, I don't know. If you feel me, like, comment below, because like I've got questions. But also, I gotta say, I kind of agree with the Swifties here, because like that stadium is not that full. It's not, and those shows are actually being canceled for real. I mean, I'm excited, right? Because that means that I have more time to save for a better seats, because there's no way in hell I'm going to see Beyonce in the nosebleeds. Like, you can hang me before that happens, right? At the same time, it's a lot of broke bitches out here who are Beyonce fans, so y'all need to get your paper up and go buy the tickets. That's all for now.